Oh, that's the other thing I wanted to talk about. I saw this. Hold on, let me pull it up. So we have a follow-up to the Burger King story. The Burger King manager who was serving people french fries from a trash can has been arrested. They got her. Rightfully so. Food tampering is serious, man. That shit is actually, like, horrifying. You remember there was that viral trend of insufferable assholes licking ice cream at supermarkets and then just putting it back? Or, like, spitting into, like, drinks and then putting them back on the shelf? And they all faced, like, potentially serious charges. It's because food tampering is such an important thing to crack down on. And now she's getting slapped for serving trash can french fries, which is so weird. Like, french fries, like, it's not like there was any shortage of them. It's not like she was saving money by serving french fries out of the dumpster. But I love the trash can seasoning. Yeah, someone in chat made a great point, because when I first read this story, I said, like, how could you even tell it's Burger King? Haha, everything's fucking terrible there. It's all trash. There's no way you'd even know. And one guy in chat was like, well, that's how they knew it, because it tasted better, so they were suspicious. And it turns out they were from the trash can. It's a baffling crime. And hopefully she faces serious repercussions. Food tampering is serious. Do you guys know the history of why food tampering is so cracked down on? I don't even know why I'm asking this like I'm in some kind of fucking classroom setting. I'll just tell you. It's because there was a case a long time ago, I don't remember when. There was a case of some absolute menace, some fiend, started tampering with, I think it was Tylenol, and they poisoned it. And just poisoned a bunch of Tylenol across a bunch of different areas, and they never caught the person. And it was a huge problem because it led to deaths. And they couldn't trace anything because there was nothing tamper-proof. They just laced Tylenol and fucking killed them with cyanide. So they really busted down on all of it, which is why food tampering carries such a big possible sentence. It was cyanide, right? That they laced the Tylenol with? I'm almost positive. There were 7 deaths, and it was in October, from September to October of 1982. And yes, it was laced with potassium cyanide. Did they ever find out who it was? No. There's a whole Wikipedia on it, though. The Chicago Tylenol murders. But because it was, like, widespread, they couldn't really track down who it was reliably. It was just, it's too hard. The trash can fries were an accident and she'll get off. Were they? I've seen conflicting reports on that. I haven't read this story from this source yet. Let's see. I don't think it was an accident. You don't accidentally serve someone dumpster fries. Let's see. Officers allege that Jamie Major, the location's assistant manager, put the discarded fries in the tray and added freshly cooked ones on top. The incident allegedly happened the same day as the previous argument for disturbance on July 9th. When they got there, they found 2 women identified as customers arguing with staff, and they arrested the women, charging them with disorderly conduct. 2 days later, the department received a complaint that the fries had been tossed in the trash. Fries that had been tossed in the trash were being served to customers. They'd been put in the garbage by the person who filed the complaint with the police. Major was arrested and is facing charges of malicious tampering with human food. She was being held on $20,000 bond, according to the Union County Detention Center. They received a statement from Burger King that said, "These allegations do not align with the brand's commitment to quality food and service and creating an exceptional guest experience. You have failed on all of these. You have failed on actually every single one of these fronts, Burger King. The franchisee of this restaurant is cooperating with local authorities and will take appropriate action based on the findings. As this remains an ongoing investigation, we are unable to share additional details at this time." Imagine going to jail for fries. She won't be alone. What's crazy is, within the last year, she will not be the only incarcerated criminal off of French fries. There was a guy wanted for murder. I think it was murder. I could be wrong, but I'm almost positive it was murder. He had a warrant out for his arrest, and he was served cold French fries, and he was so offended at getting served cold French fries, he called the police. When the police arrived at the scene, they ran his details, found out he had a warrant out for his arrest, and then he was like, oh shit, this was a bad idea, and he ran away. The police tased him and took him into custody. All because he self-reported over cold French fries. I'm gonna double check. I think it was murder. I think he was wanted for murder. which is crazy. Like, he got away with murder and then it's like, cold fries? Nope. We've got to get the police down here ASAP. This is unforgivable. Yep, murder suspect. Yep. That was August of last year. The footage of it is kind of crazy, too. Not that anything wild happens, he runs away and gets tased, but, like, he looks so befuddled that all of a sudden the whole situation turned on him. He really thought he was in the right over those cold french fries. Man, every single one of these is requiring ad block. They're really trying to cash in off this story here. They weren't even cold, actually. I tried the fries, they were lukewarm. Room temperature fries. They weren't even, like, ice cold. He wanted that shit piping hot. He couldn't have just asked for a warm batch. I don't know. Apparently they got into a little argument or something. Owner was cussing at him, and I guess it got out of hand. Or the trash can fries at least warm? Might get a few years off her sentence. Good question. This article didn't say the temperature of the fries, but it's Burger King, so I think we can rest assured that not only were they unsalted, but they were also probably cold. We'll have to read the case files when they're released. How do you tell trash fries from normal fries at BK, though? You don't. They must have seen it. And I believe it was actually called in by somebody who watched her do it. So you had to visually see it. You'd never taste the difference at BK. The worst crime ever. It's definitely got to be up there. What is the minimum sentence for malicious food tampering? Hold on, I'm going to see. Okay, maximum is 10 years for tampering with consumer products. That's assuming there was no injuries. Which, I mean, you could maybe make a case for psychological damage knowing you ate from the Burger King trash can. Eating from a trash can's bad. Eating from a Burger King trash can, that's like biting into like raw plutonium. You're really rolling the dice. That's got to be the most radioactive fucking trash can ever. The dumpster behind Burger King, good lord. Filled with fucking gamma radiation. Though in Texas it could be up to 20, but this wasn't in Texas. If you check the same news site, they have an article titled Manager, Assistant Manager Arrested During Operation Special Toppings. Is this how they caught her? They had to have like a whole sting operation? They had like a van with a satellite dish parked outside the local Burger King here. Fucking binoculars out there with like a stakeout waiting. Operation Special Toppings nabs 2 pizza parlor employees. Oh, wow. How deep does it go? Oh, accused of using restaurant to make drug deals. That's so much different than just serving trash can fries. This is not the same. Would you ever do a fast food breakfast tier list? Man, that's fucking crazy. We did that last week. The video will be up either tomorrow or the next day. How many of you are familiar with this story? This was called The Cookie Monster back in 2008. 2 girls that steal from the Girl Scouts. And it's actually kind of deep. Like, it gets wild. I won't spoil the ending or anything, but it gets kind of silly. And I'd never heard of this before, but I guess it was a big deal back in '08.
Basically, me and my friend Stephanie, we needed some money. We saw a girl selling Girl Scout cookies. We saw an envelope with money in it, and I grabbed it, and she drove away.
That's free money, baby.
Why did you do it?
Because we needed money. We just wanted money.
What did you...
I think the Girl Scouts should be traveling with like a safe, like a lockbox maybe, and armed security guards. Because this is not the first time I've heard of them being robbed. It seems like that's kind of common. Like, they set up their Girl Scout cookie stands outside of Walmart or Publix or something, and then someone just comes by and zip, fucking mine.
What about the people who would say, all right, you know, it's one thing to steal money, it's another thing to do it from a 9-year-old girl selling Girl Scout cookies?
I mean, money's money. I mean, I feel bad it was a 9-year-old girl, but there was $150 in that envelope, and I wanted that money, and it was mine.
How brutally honest. Like an actual comic book villain. Out here teaching life lessons. $150 easy payday. The only problem was we got caught. And I would have got away with it too if it wasn't for those meddling grocery store security cameras.
I just want to say that I'm sorry for offending the Girl Scout organization, but other than that, that's it.
I like the word offending there. As if that was the problem, like she insulted them and they took it personally or something. Instead of, I apologize for stealing from the Girl Scout organization, it's, I'm sorry for hurting their feelings. So pretty smart criminal overall. But she's not the star of the show. This was mainly the sidekick, the Robin to the real Batman, Stephanie Woods.
I mean, some people might say
You'll see her in just a minute.
I heard one person that
Well,
doesn't.
it's not her money. A
I mean, it
9-year-old
is.
girl was selling it, but it's not like she was gonna make that money. So it doesn't really bother me. The only thing that bothers me is my
Those
charges
neurons are
now.
not firing.
What was the other crime that you had been charged with?
Domestic battery.
Oh, huge.
Pretty much, we just
There
saw
she
the
is.
Girl Scouts with their little
protagonist.
table, and
But it's a crime.
I know it's a crime, but it was an easy crime. It was easy. It was
True.
sitting right there. I mean, there's
Literally taking candy from a baby. Like, you just stealing from a 9-year-old? Like, what are they gonna do? Put up a fight? No, sir. Who's a 9-year-old gonna beat? Not an adult. No shot. Like that. Yeah, that's easy crime. She's not wrong. She's making a great point. What a fucking maniac.
there's a lesson learned now, but
What's the lesson you say that you could learn out of this?
probably not to get caught, or maybe not to steal.
I mean, do you have any remorse about stealing from a 9-year-old girl?
Right now, no, because I'm kind of pissed because I have charges and we had to give the money back anyway. So now I'm
Yeah.
pretty pissed.
Net loss,
But
unfortunately.
I mean, some people might say it's.
I'm really, I don't feel sadness for that little girl. I mean, she's getting a lot of money right now from people who feel bad for her. So
Is she in the same parking lot? I just
What were
noticed
you
she
gonna use?
pointed over there. Are they still selling cookies? Like, once this camera comes off, Stephanie Woods might just make her way over there, just meander over and steal a couple extra envelopes of cash from the Girl Scouts. Return to the scene of the crime, lightning striking twice in the same place. After this, a few years later, she got arrested again. Still can't get rid of the Cookie Monster name, by the way. It's what she's forever known for. And sentenced to 6.5 years in prison. Not from stealing from Girl Scouts this time. That was just her gateway drug to a harder drug, heroin. So, yep. A pretty expected conclusion, if I'm being honest. You know, this is something I think a lot of people saw coming. But she must have hired Saul Goodman because initially she was facing 9.5 years. But she took a plea deal, so it worked out for her. 6 years, rent-free, long con. True, she won't need to worry about gas money in jail. She's out of jail now, though. This was 2014, and she served 6.5 years, assuming she did the whole sentence. Like, she's out. So if your daughter's in the Girl Scouts, tell her to sleep with one eye open, because Stephanie Woods could be right around the corner. She's like the boogeyman. Being smart has its drawbacks. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, too, listening to her speak. Like, damn, she's quite intelligent. One of those true criminal genius masterminds. A victim of her own hubris, unfortunately. What happened to the other girl? I don't know who the other girl was. Stephanie Woods was really the star. I don't know shit about the other girl. I couldn't find any info on her. Maybe someone in chat knows, for someone that's a little more familiar with the story than I am. In 2009, she was also arrested for robbery and kidnapping. She pleaded guilty. Man, I tell you, you steal money from the Girl Scouts one time, and then all of a sudden you're shooting up heroin in the bathtub and kidnapping kids and robbing other places. She stole like $400 from a gas station as well. Girl Scouts set her up. Oh yeah, maybe this was entrapment. Like the Girl Scouts deliberately left an envelope with like $150 like sneaking out of it on the side of the table, and they all turned around in order to catch some would-be thieves. You might be onto something. That's how they got my uncle. Fun fact, they also dine and dashed to Denny's 3 weeks earlier. The vid on it is called Girl Scout Cookie Money Theft. Okay, I've got to see that.
All I could say is that I'm really sorry.
Stephanie Woods seemed contrite, claiming she's been turned into a cookie money monster. The 18-year-old convicted just days ago for
They actually brought
stealing money from a Girl Scout.
They brought the Girl Scout in to testify? Yeah, that's the bitch that stole our money. That fucking heartless fiend. Yeah, that's her. I recognize her. Put her in the slammer.
Even though I think it'd be really unfair if I got 60 days in jail.
A 17-year-old
What do you mean?
who's yet to be charged was with her in both the Denny's and Girl Scout thefts and was
Oh, now we get to learn about the
supposed to
sidekick?
take stand, but Wood's attorney was nervous. She was going to turn against his client, so she took the plea.
The family.
Despite this flip of the finger and then shove of our camera last week in court.
Hey, Stephanie, come
I
on.
don't have
Hey,
much of an
come
attitude
on.
anymore, really, except for the other day. But that was just anger. So what can I say?
Her attorney
Thus,
said Wood's
an
plea of
attitude.
No contest was the best avenue, given the conflicting statements from her younger co-defendant.
Oh, there's still more.
It's the Girl Scout cookie thief like you've never seen her before, crying.
Damn,
in
she's a
court
celebrity.
After the judge throws the book at her.
An out-of-control drug user, and sent her away to get her life back on track. She will have up to 3 years to do just that.
Holy shit.
The road for 18-year-old Stephanie
Wait, what the
Woods. She
fuck?
arrived-
Wait, so she was sentenced even before the 6.5 years? Wait, did I just miss that in the article? So she just bounces from prison to prison. So she had a 3.5 year sentence before the 6.5? There's still more?
From juvenile detention to the county jail, more punishment for Stephanie Woods, the so-called Girl Scout
Jesus.
cookie cash thief.
Another sentencing for Stephanie Woods. This
I'm adding
time
an
in
extra year
Stafford.
'cause I just
A
hate the
juvenile
letters
judge
from
had
your
already
fans.
ordered Woods into custody and into drug treatment, but Judge Cohen says it should stay, and he gives Stephanie 3 days in jail as a deterrent.
The judge, I think, did the right thing. I really do.
Damn, what a story. Yeah, that shit is deep. All starting from stealing cookies from stealing money from the Girl Scouts. Wild. Crazy how it all ended up. Well, I guess not really crazy. Kind of expected. I really do wonder what her friend's doing. I wonder if she also had this kind of trajectory. She was given 2 years of probation for the drugs, after which she committed 10 probation offenses, including violating curfew, hanging with criminals, lying to a probation officer, giving an officer a fake ID, not doing community service, and stealing $400 from a gas station. Allegedly. That also could be a false flag operation from the Girl Scouts. We don't know for sure yet. You know that wild feeling where you take notice of something and then you start seeing it everywhere soon after? For example, you're driving around on the road and your little peepers catch a glimpse of a unique blue car and you're like, man, that's a really interesting color for a car. I don't see that very often anymore. And then you'll drive like a block up the road and then all of a sudden there's like 8 blue cars that come out of nowhere, it seems, and it's like, damn, now I'm trapped in an alternate dimension where there's only blue cars. How did this happen? I just saw one for the first time in a long time a block ago. There's actually a word for that. It's called the frequency illusion, or the Bader-Meinhof phenomenon. I think that's how you pronounce it. I may have absolutely butchered it. I couldn't tell you. But basically what it is a cognitive bias where when you notice something for the first time, you start to notice it a lot thereafter. It kind of just puts that in your noodle and you become more perceptive and aware of it, and it makes it seem like all of a sudden it's more common than it is. I can still remember the first time I remember this happening to me. I was playing Grand Theft Auto Vice City and I saw a really rare vehicle that I don't think I'd ever seen before, so I did everything in my power to acquire it, and I finally do through blood, sweat, tears, elbow grease, and my little child brain was blown by how cool I felt with this new vehicle. And then as I'm driving away, there's like 8 more of those bitches driving in the opposite direction, and I was stunned. Now maybe it was a game mechanic, I never even bothered to check, but I think more likely than not it was just an example of this frequency illusion. Point is, the reason I'm mentioning this, I just made a video covering that forklift ATM heist from like 2 days ago, and now all of a sudden I've been inundated with stories that are popping up about like heavy machinery robberies, and I feel like this just has to be another example of the frequency illusion, because there's no way that this is a very common crime. There is no way that there's some kind of mind plague that's infecting people's brains, making them believe that stealing excavators, forklifts, front-end loaders, garbage trucks in order to commit crimes with them is a good idea that will somehow work. Like, there's just no way that it's that common. It has to be, I'm more perceptive of it now. But to argue against myself, I don't think there ever would have been a time where my eyes would just glaze past a headline that talks about a guy stealing a front-end loader and stealing motorcycles with a fucking front-end loader. Like, I feel like I would have always been aware of that. So maybe this is just becoming like the new crime meta. Just stealing like machinery you'd find at some kind of mining operation and using that to commit crime across the city with. I don't know. But this shit is wacky. Let me go ahead and show you this front-end loader robbery and subsequent low-speed pursuit. This is actually some wild work out of GTA right now. I feel like you could have accomplished the same thing with just a brick. Like, I don't even think you needed to steal the front-end loader, to be honest. Like, it was probably a lot more difficult to find this vehicle than it would be to just find, like, a big rock. Oh, wait. I see. Now I see what the plan was. Wait, this guy's galaxy brain. This is an incredible scheme. He got the Christmas presents. I mean, he's kind of busting up the bikes on the way home here. He's not doing a great job of securing the package.
Put it down, mate. He is not stopping. He is not stopping.
I was legitimately stunned by the depth of this plan having more layers to it than just take big vehicle, crash into building, and then go in and take the goodies and call it a night. This guy pre-planned this for what I imagine must have been months. He not only found a front-end loader that was prime for the pickin', but then he also went into the building with ratchet straps, I guess, and put them together as if it was like fucking grapes on a vine, and then had the perfect attachment for the front-end loader, the hook, in order to actually carry away the bikes on it. Like, there was a lot more than I would have expected here. Like, Jesus Christ, I was half expecting the front-end loader to turn into a goddamn Decepticon committing the crime. This was a shocking revelation. And, of course, the subsequent chase afterwards is where everything went tits up. He clearly only planned the first part and not the second part. I don't know how he thought he could make some kind of inconspicuous getaway with a fucking rogue front-end loader with two motorbikes dangling off of it like truck nuts. Like, there was no world where that wouldn't tip off the authorities. And this is not exactly the optimal getaway vehicle. So you can see the vehicle's not really zooming around too quickly and the bikes are banging against each other. I also couldn't help but giggle at the officer telling him to put it down like it's a child who's got a cookie he wasn't supposed to have before eating his vegetables. Like, brother, this man stole a front-end loader. You think he's just going to give up that easily? No. He is committed to this for the long haul.
Okay, run over the bikes. Everybody stay well clear of this tractor.
Oh, he already dropped them, but oh boy. Oh boy. This vehicle's not fast enough for this kind of engagement. And he shed the entire front battering ram. Oh god. I don't know how he gets out of this one. Unless his friend stole a helicopter and then gets like a giant magnet to airlift him out. I don't think there's any way he actually gets out of this situation though. Oh! Oh! He's ripping some gnarly maneuvers. This is a very interesting chase. We left the roads and now we're in God's country. Oh my god. Wait, the officer's on the tracks too. Wait, this officer action here is about it. This man's like, it's finally my chance. I didn't think I'd ever get to do this. We're gonna need a good Samaritan to pull him over in like an equally strong front loader. Fight fire with fire.
In the bush. Got all his clothing in the creek.
Oh boy. We're on foot now. He's naked.
Hands in the air now! Good boy, mate, good boy!
He tried to throw off the dog's scent by getting nude. That was a pretty cool chase. That was one of the more interesting ones I've seen in a while. Should have found a skunk and got sprayed. Your brain is huge. That's such a good idea. Yeah, he could have hidden his scent if he had just subjected himself to the skunk smell. But then he still would have needed to find a really good hiding place where they wouldn't find him. Instead of throwing your clothes away, just dress up as a deer. I don't know. If you're going to try and disguise yourself, I think you actually have a better chance of disguising yourself as a cop. Like, imagine he gets out of the front loader, runs into the forest, and he has, like, a cop uniform waiting for him, complete with, like, flashlight and everything, and service pistol, and he's, like, just looking around and just talking with the boys. Like, you'd probably get further with that approach. They finally caught him, but this man was operating on, like, demon mode here. He hatched a nefarious plot with the front-end loader, and he tried to see it through, but he didn't quite have what it takes. I still can't believe that he had the chutzpah to steal a front-end loader, get the proper, like, hook attachment for it, get the ratchet straps, and set up the motorbikes in a way that they can be lifted out with the front-end loader and hook. But he didn't plan the most obvious part, which would be, how the fuck do you get away? He had no plan for that. All he did was start just driving down public roads and then was like shocked that the cops somehow got on his tail. I don't understand. And this is like, as I mentioned in the very beginning, this feels like it's being more common with stealing things like excavators and forklifts and all that to commit wild crime. Like, it feels like it's being more common, but again, this could just be an example of the frequency illusion. I'm not sure yet. But anyway, it's always wild when that happens. Jinkies. It is always such an adventure to watch that. But anyway, yeah, that's really about it. So yeah. I'm confident that a large number of you watching this video have been the victims of porch pirates or package thieves at some point in your life. It's becoming an ever-increasing crime that's more common than jaywalking at this point. Now, as the video title is already spoiled for you, yes, we were recently the victims of porch pirates, and we've got some nice 4K footage compliments of the Ring doorbell that caught them in the act, and I just really want to talk about this because it is so frustrating that this keeps happening. And what's even more frustrating is just how bubbly she is while stealing our shit. She looks directly at the Ring doorbell and basically just smiles at us, just stares a hole through our soul. Because she knows she's going to get away with it, and she has. They aren't really able to do anything. Authorities can't fucking track her down just by knowing what she looks like. This isn't a game of guess who. So here comes our little angel now, and this is clearly not her first rodeo because she brought some equipment here. She's got a big bag in order to efficiently steal packages, so that way she doesn't have to struggle with, like, carrying multiple packages in her arms. Just look at this efficiency. She's a well-oiled machine. This is some shit out of Ocean's 11 here. She's in and out within 30 seconds, gets the whole kit and caboodle, and then even blows a little kiss on the way by, looking directly at the Ring doorbell. Excellent work, ma'am. Also, for any astute observers out there, that vehicle parked in front of the house, that soccer mom Batmobile, that was her getaway car. She had the chutzpah to not only casually walk up to the house, slowly pick up all the packages, and then waltz away smiling. She even parked her car basically in the driveway of the place she was robbing. She didn't even do the standard shit that you see in crime heist movies where they park like a block away before robbing a bank. Everything was so bold and brash, and it doesn't matter because she did get away with it. Now, I blurred her face because I'm not trying to lead a witch hunt here or anything. Of course, I don't care about protecting the identity of a criminal, but I do not want to engage in any kind of witch hunt behavior. I'll explain what she stole in just a moment, but I also want to explain that this is not me that was stolen from this time around. This is Matt. These little goodies that were stolen were Matt's, and I'll go ahead and give you the little post-game analysis report to tell you what her grand total is that she made off with. Incalculable wealth. She basically won the Powerball by stealing from Matt. She got priceless artifacts, treasures that not even Nicolas Cage would be able to steal, like the Declaration of Independence, because they're too important and too valuable to even put a price tag on. One of the items was a custom birthday present that Matt spent like 6 months working on and ordering and getting finished and finalized for his sister. It was a birthday present that Matt had waited half a year for to give to his sister that finally arrived, and now it's in her hands, so I can promise you there's not shit she can do with it unless she happens to share the same name as his sister and the same interests. And then the big package that she stole is actually a package that was meant for all of us, not just Matt. It was our most recent merch line. I shit you not, this isn't just supposed to be some kind of merch plug. She stole our prototype merch. This happened quite a little bit ago. So we were waiting for some prototype merch to come in to see how everything feels and looks to make sure that it's up to our quality standards and make sure that it absolutely slaps. And that was that package. So she made off with some alpha merch here. This is a bigger haul than robbing a bank. She broke into Fort Knox and stole something far more valuable than gold. Moist Global merch. Now anyway, back to the topic at hand. So Bozo did get away with the crime. unfortunately, and it just boils my blood because this is happening to everyone everywhere. Like I mentioned, since everyone is basically shopping online these days, there's not a whole lot of, brick and mortar purchases. It's going to people's doorstep. The packages get there, and then some people just swoop in and take it like reverse leprechauns coming to steal our pots of gold that are left out on the porch. It's extremely frustrating. Oftentimes, it's just total strangers that are just going to random houses looking for packages and then taking them. Other times, it's your neighbor coming in and swooping in, taking your shit. You can't trust anyone. There's reptilians among us and they're taking all of our things. Just look at this. The arrogance is infuriating. Basically giving a thumbs up to the Ring doorbell camera, smirking at it, knowing that she's being recorded and watched, but it doesn't matter because she also knows that she's going to get away with it. Also, love how she's wearing a Hurley shirt she must have just finished stealing from PacSun, and she is way too old to be in that store. Act your age, lady. It's so frustrating. This Porch pirate found the One Piece with our Moist Global merch and then also stole an extremely important item from Matt to his sister. And it sucks because this isn't like some kind of freak incident that happened. Package thieves are so common now. I don't know how often it's happened to Matt, but for me personally, it's happened a couple of times with my packages being stolen. I've personally been the victim of porch pirates only twice in my life, I believe. That's mainly because I just don't really order many things, and the things I do order are things that nobody is gonna try and steal. Like, for example, the Moby Huge. The Moby Huge is a 60-pound wiener. Like, no one's taking that. So most of those items that I get aren't really things porch pirates are, salivating over. The only 2 times that I've had my packages stolen by a porch pirate was one when I was living in my apartment complex and I was really obsessed with buying goofy instruments. So I had a pretty silly one delivered. I can't remember exactly what it was. I think it was a pocket trumpet, and someone had taken it right in front of my door. And then the second time is I ordered, I think it was Yu-Gi-Oh cards. It was either Yu-Gi-Oh or Pokemon cards, and they just left a couple packages out front, and someone came by and snagged them. Which is obviously not only a huge headache because you didn't get what you paid for, and it's not the fault of the seller, just some asshole came through and swiped it. But it's also just a big psychological thing as well, just feeling like it's unsafe to order things to your house because someone might steal it. It just sucks. And what's even worse is things like Ring doorbell, like they're there to help in situations like this, to be like a deterrent to thieves and all of that. But because this has become so common, it's very difficult for there to be action taken on each of these cases. And even if they do try and, figure out who it was that stole from you, piece together the puzzle pieces to the mystery and solve it like Scooby-Doo and the crew, it's very unlikely that even if somehow they do pull off the miracle and find the person that stole your packages, you're still not likely to get the stolen items back. The whole thing just fucking sucks. Porch pirates are degenerate scum. Mark Rober is a hero for glitter bombing package thieves. I love that. That's my favorite series ever. The glitter bombs against the package thieves is great. Obviously, this is a huge problem faced by a lot of people, but I don't have the solution either. Like, I don't know how you're supposed to, protect packages dropped off on the porch, unless you have, some kind of safety deposit box or, a vault door that delivery, personnel are supposed to deposit the stuff in and then lock on the way out. I really have no idea. That doesn't sound super efficient. That seems like it could get pretty messy and weird. So I don't exactly know, what can really be done to stop this from being such a common crime. It's just one of those things that fucking sucks though, and I really wanted to talk about it a little bit. So that's it. So yeah.
Good. Okay, when the police get it, we'll see. We'll see, okay? Yeah.
I think the police are going to be on his side if you're stealing.
You shoplift here. You can't shoplift here.
Yeah, why not?
Why not?
It's a law, I guess.
Shoplift here. Go ahead and watch what happens.
Me in the parking lot.
I can't tell if she's an age illusionist. I can't tell if she's early 20s or late 40s.
Stop it.
Even her mom and dad are like, well, she kind of deserves it.
No.
Oh god, the demon's coming out?
I'm working. She's what's that?
He's got her with the holy takedown.
Stop it.
Don't bite him either.
Stop it.
Thanks, referee.
You're being filmed, man.
Wait.
Watch your mouth. Be a gentleman.
Who's she, his coach? Remember your training. This is not the way of the Force. God bless the cameraman, finally. This dude deserves Employee of the Month here. Graphic warning, that's... Suspect gets naked as meat falls from his pants. That certainly does sound like Florida. If I was confident in their blurring ability, I would watch that, but I'm not.
Sophisticated method. All right,
they just crash the car through the front and just start grabbing shit.
Say is an Melinda Ford, aka Puffy, is about to hit the dressing room of a Bell's department store in Florida.
That's fucking awesome. She's like a kingpin.
Last year we were given access to an unfolding investigation to a crime
stealing another $40 in shirts.
And that's why Sergeant Jim Ostachek from
Ooh,
the
the
County
Sarge.
Sheriff's Office has spent nearly a
No
month
shoplifter has
tracing
ever survived
Puffy
an encounter with the Sarge.
store to store. Investigators say if they can flip Puffy, they're betting they can round up the returners.
This is like Sly Cooper 2.
The whole booster rate. And radioing their movements to officers outside waiting in the
But how dangerous is Puffy?
Subjects are now exiting the store.
She learns that Pee-wee's double-crossed her, so she takes her out to like a crocodile-infested swamp with an assault rifle.
Vehicle is moving.
Their own share of substations.
We've got you now, Puffy.
Pull over Puffy and Pee-wee right into the station's parking lot.
Puffy comes out with dual katanas.
Puffy is escorted. Police say Puffy finally seems to crack.
Oh, they broke Puffy? She's snitching?
Everybody in her virtual Rolodex.
Oh shit.
She's gonna go to them one.
He would be like the only
Now she's signed as like the lieutenant of the police force.
Helping them.
I never thought that what I did was this serious.
Stealing?
It's very serious.
Well,
It actually is an organized crime.
Puffy, who will receive a 2-year prison term plus 10 years of probation.
It is stealing. It's pretty.
Work, helping to
It's pretty
round
well
up
known to not be
dozens
good.
of suspected returners claim she paid to return stolen merchandise.
Damn, that car is out. Her husband just left.
33-year-old
Fuck you, Carol.
is also one of them.
Damn, this is like the end of an Ocean's 11.
24 months of probation.
God damn. Don't tell me it's filmed like this. Much better. Put a finger in his asshole, it'll calm him down. It's like a human cheat code.
You're not getting away from us, dude.
That's what you think. Right now, he's doing a huge brain scheme where he's sweating and getting it all over his body, making him slippery, and he'll slip right out.
We don't want to hurt you.
I feel like I'm watching the MMA right now with some little ground and pound action, but much slower.
You're going to jail, man. Please help me. No, you're going to jail.
He's getting arrested for having a man bun. Yeah, he didn't steal anything, they just don't like the man bun. And it's not a man bun, this is called the top knot, by the way. Hats off to these three dudes for not getting bored of just, like, holding this guy. Little dance with him.
Don't come back to this target, you heard?
He just gets hit by a car. Why is it called held at gunpoint? Oh, it's not over yet. What the fuck? This is 12 minutes? What the fuck? What is he? Does he come back to steal more shit? But this time wearing a mask?
Why'd you let him go?
Oh, he lives across the street. Well, the cops are a little late. Oh, he went to steal somewhere else? Bro, this cameraman's getting so much action in one night. Send the cameraman in to negotiate.
Target guy, so it's an assault.
Why is he hiding behind a gas pump? You never know what the shoplifting guy is capable of. He might start tossing Molotov cocktails out of the chimney or something. He's unpredictable. Is there even anyone in there? The shop owner looks very calm. And he's just jogging around, hanging out. What is happening? I thought he had taken hostages. He dressed up as the storekeeper. Yeah, like hitman disguise. He knocked out the storekeeper and put on his disguise. Well, where the fuck is he? Is there even anyone in there at this point? They got the wrong address. They meant to go to the Target. Oh, this is fun. Everyone here is having a good time. He flushed himself down the toilet. He's already getting trained by Master Splinter in the sewers now, yeah. He's gonna come out an even stronger shoplifter. There he is! I see him! That's the guy! Run back to the target. You're safe there. Jesus, they got a helicopter out here for a shoplifter? Shit must be boring as fucking Sherman Oaks. Finally, some action. I don't care if you only stole 5 packs of Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Call everyone, get them all out there. Hello and welcome back to the People I Don't Like corner. Today we have a special repeat guest joining us for the launch of the new season here, Phidias. You might remember Phidias from this iconic YouTube classic where he went to the world's poorest country and tried to turn it into some kind of spectacle. This is actually the original thumbnail from Pyrocynical's video. After the backlash, though, he changed it to his current one, which is this. The video is, I spent 100 hours in the world's poorest country, and basically it boils down to him going, whoa, look at all these poor people. Glad I'm not poor. That's kind of the entire vibe of the video. He tries to put some kind of wholesome, almost altruistic spin on it, but it falls entirely flat when the actual content is him going, oh, you're poor? This is how you live? Oh, ew. Oh! There's even a fucking scene in there where he goes to one of the classrooms and he pulls out his phone and basically just flexes on him saying like, I have the entire world's knowledge at my fingertips.
They are not only from school, they are online from the phone. They can access all the clever minds.
I said this because only 10% of the population has access to the internet. I left the class and felt inspired.
This scene is a particular flavor of Goofy that you don't see that often. It's Goofy mixed with delusion, a very powerful alchemy. If you pay attention to the clip, you can see the teacher give him a really confused look as he pulls out his own smartphone, and Phidias like kind of blocks him with Elon Musk's head as the teacher approaches, and then he cuts to a different clip. And so I'm pretty sure the teacher felt a little insulted here because Phidias is treating everyone there like they're stupid, and it seems like the teacher approaches him with smartphone in hand to just let him know like, hey, we do have technology here, you don't need to act this way towards us. At least that's the impression I get. Anyway. I'm focusing too much on this video in particular. I'm just using this to showcase why I haven't liked Phidias even before what we're about to talk about today. So this video was labeled as poverty tourism, where Phidias went to this country in order to use everyone there as props for his content to make money off the back of all of it. Half the video is spent saying how cheap everything is to the people's faces. There's also scenes where he goes to where people live and he's noticeably disgusted. It's a bad video. But there were arguments made that it came from good intentions. I don't agree with that. I think Phidias is a narcissist, and his entire intention here was just maximizing views, and spending 100 hours in the poorest country as some kind of YouTube challenge I think is completely tasteless. But the reason I mention that is because what he's done today has no arguments in support of Phidias. What he did today is going across Japan for free. That was his challenge video. And fundamentally, it's him just filming a series of crimes that he commits in order to go across Japan for free.
I'm going to travel across Japan for free against these 3 YouTubers, and the winner gets $10,000. So I ask a stranger to give me some money. Oh my god, I love you,
I'm not going to go through the whole thing because you're going to get the idea pretty quickly here. It's not just him doing it, he roped in 3 other YouTubers to be accomplices in the crime, which apparently in Japan is a pretty serious crime from everything I've read. The refusal to pay for the services of public transportation is treated as a pretty serious offense, more serious than this face I'm about to make. So you know that it's not something they take lightly. I've also read from a couple of sources that they're considering like an actual investigation into this situation, though I don't think anything's 100% confirmed there. But regardless, what he has done is still illegal. Now, in the beginning here, he asks a stranger for money so he can pay for the bus. I guess that counts because he's not using his own money, thus he is still traveling for free.
To go down, so hopefully he doesn't ask me to pay.
Get off?
Yes.
680. Yeah.
6. Only this.
80.
No, no.
80.
No.
Police.
No.
Come on, police station. 80 yen.
Because I was 80 yen short. In the police station, they started interrogating me and they took my phone away, so I couldn't film anything.
Good lord, even the brain worms inside of his noodle must be in agony. When his neurons are firing, it just produces nothing but trash. The clout poisoned mind that this guy has is so impressive. I think it actually deserves to be studied at some point. Just taking a peek at his frontal lobe and his thought process would be insightful. He gets detained for 5 hours in Japan, and the number one thing he was concerned about is he wasn't able to film it. I don't know how you even end up that fucked up. That is so degenerate and so embarrassing. He said the police eventually let him go and covered the 80 yen that he was short, so I imagine they just got unbelievably annoyed with this goober and said, enough is enough, we can't take the headache any longer, get the fuck out of here, we'll cover it, just leave us alone. So they send him on his way and he immediately goes and commits a series of crimes.
So the police already knows me, so I'm going to disguise myself. Now, being disguised, I'm ready to sneak in the train.
This is my train.
So let's hope that nobody gets me. And now it's time to teach you how to get the train for free. So I'm entering the train and I will find the toilet and go straight to the toilet. Here is the bathroom. I will just lock myself the whole time in the bathroom.
Man played Assassin's Creed one time and thought a hoodie up would solve all of his problems. It'd just be the perfect disguise. All the NPCs around him would forget that he exists as long as the hood's up. But unfortunately, it wasn't enough. He beelined straight to the bathroom in order to ride for free all the way to his destination. But it's the bathroom. People are going to need to use that at some point, so he gets some knocks on the door, and it starts to cause a little bit of an alarm from the authorities there that something is awry. You know, either this man's taking the biggest shit of all time, or the shit just took him. Or, the most likely explanation, this is a guy who's riding for free. He's breaking the law right now. So the authorities wait for him to get out of the bathroom.
So I came to my destination now. I think he's waiting for me outside. And I was right. He was just waiting to catch me. So the only thing I could do is to pretend that I'm sick. When I sat down, he released me, and immediately I started running. But he called the police, and they are searching for me now.
We're definitely getting in trouble here.
So the officers got him in like a WWE lockup here. He's got him, caught with his pants down, and eventually Phidias wiggles his way free and says that the cops were called on him, so he's trying to beat them to the next train so he can continue his crime spree. Now, I'm going to break the magician's code here and just speculate on something. I think this part is probably faked. I think it was real that he didn't pay and wasn't planning to, but when he did get briefly apprehended by the authorities there, I think what most likely happened is he paid for the ride he had just experienced and then is only pretending that he ran away from them. I don't think even he is stupid enough to try and evade arrest like this. You would actually have to be one of the biggest fucking idiots on the planet to do this and also film it. I just can't believe that there's enough whippets in the world that you could hit that would damage your brain enough to think that any of this is a good idea. But he is a YouTuber at the end of the day, which means he probably is just fucking dumb enough to really do this and think that it's smart, all while filming his entire crime spree.
There are ticket inspectors on this train, so I'm hiding in the toilet. This is stressful, I'm not gonna lie. It's getting to my nerves.
Luckily, the train has arrived before the police could find me. Again, we're going to do the same method, toilet. Can't believe that this is real and not a movie.
It'd be the most boring movie ever. I just think the whole concept of the video is dog shit. Traveling across Japan for free isn't an interesting concept. You can do anything for free. I'll just go ahead and spoil it for you. If you want to be a criminal. Right now, you could go to the store and get a 100% discount off any item if you just take it and run. It's not like they've come up with like a clever plan or anything remotely interesting or entertaining. They just go to the shitter on the trains and sit there until they reach their destination. That's it. It's so fucking lame. It's just committing crimes. All you are doing is committing crimes and recording all of the evidence of what you've done. Assuming, of course, it's real, which you never really know for sure. I think there's a good chance that all of this was real, but I also think there is a chance that it's fake, where they did just pay for their trip and pretend that they didn't, though in the beginning I am confident he did actually just try and exploit the kindness of that Japanese person who gave him money for the bus, and then refusing to cover what was missing and then spent 5 hours in the police station. All of that I think was legitimate, but I think there is a chance that all of the free train rides were faked, because I really just can't imagine a world where this fucking goofball ran away from the authorities after he was caught in the bathroom after not paying. So that's just my working game theory there, but regardless, it sucks. This guy sucks. And speaking of exploiting kindness, I really just can't stand the way this guy interacts with the people around him. He treats all of them like they're NPCs. He really does. So a lot of the video is spent hitchhiking towards the end, where they're all getting like different rides from different strangers to where they need to go. And all of the people giving them the rides are absolute sweethearts. And Phidias in particular films all of it, of course, and just the way he talks to them makes it sound so condescending. Like he speaks to them like he thinks they're stupid. Like that's the impression he gives off, that everyone that he interacts with is beneath him because they are props to him. And I can't fucking stand it. He pinned a response to this whole thing by saying, "Hello, beautiful people. I apologize to the Japanese people if we made them feel bad. That was not our goal. From now on, I am going to make more research to the cultures we go to and try to prevent this from happening again. I love you all." Actual 0 out of 10 response here. If this was a YouTuber apology tier list, this would be the biggest, fattest fucking F I could ever give. What are you talking about? You need to do more research on the cultures you go to prevent this from happening? Every culture in the world, this isn't legal. Even here in the States too, you can't just do things and not pay for it. I mean, you can, but you are breaking a law. You are a criminal. It's not like this is a Japanese specific thing here that was just oh, I'm so sorry guys, I didn't do enough research on the culture. This mistake could have happened to anyone.
There is a checkpoint! All of my competitors in this challenge, they are amazing YouTubers, and I put all their channels in the description. Go and check them out and subscribe to them. I'm getting closer!
This actually just made me giggle. Actually gave me a hearty belly laugh like Santa Claus here. Because he says, "Oh, all my competitors, amazing YouTubers, check them out, they're in the description." No, they're not. They're not in the description. Imagine being some of these 3 YouTubers that just broke bad here, went down a life of crime for the sake of this video, and still just don't even get your channel in the video itself. So you have really no way of easily finding them. They actually got nothing out of it except a potential criminal rap sheet, perhaps. That is the worst end of the deal. Phidias, I guess, gets some views out of it, which equal money. They get less than nothing. I also went back to the intro of the video, just in case maybe I missed it somewhere. But no, he just says, "I'm doing this against these 3 YouTubers," and puts arrows to them without any mention of who they are, and then they all split off and run away. So there is no telling who they even are. They actually just got erased from this. That is how much of a narcissist Phidias is. He couldn't even bother to squeeze their channels in somewhere after they committed crimes for his video with him. That is the cherry on top of this shit cake. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about this a little bit. That's about it. So yeah. Hey asshole, I've got 2 important questions for you. How far would you go for a sponsorship? And how far would you go for YouTube views? Would you crash a plane? Would you commit a felony? Huh? If your answer to that question is no, then you're a pussy and a coward. Take it from my man Trevor, who recently possibly crashed his plane on purpose for the sake of a viral YouTube video, which was also a sponsorship deal. It's a pretty wild story, and one that I've been following actively since the day it was posted, which was about 13 days ago now. So just to break it down, I'll go ahead and play some footage quickly. An extreme YouTuber named Trevor, who's known for doing extreme shit like piloting, parachuting, skateboarding. I swear to God, this dude will finger blast your girlfriend while hitting a kickflip. He recently posted a video called "I Crashed My Plane," and in the video he takes his friend's ashes and says he's going to spread them over his favorite mountains, but while on the flight something goes awry. The engine stalls and he immediately abandons ship and just bails out of the plane. It honestly looks like in a video game when you press the wrong button when piloting, you just like accidentally jump out. And then he makes sure to get his GoPro and selfie stick ready so he gets some awesome footage of him skydiving basically from the plane that is inevitably going to crash. And while watching this, it seems like a scene right out of the Power Rangers movie from the early 2000s with Ivan Ooze, where the Rangers skydive, but they're hitting like all these gnarly tricks on a surfboard. That's the exact same vibe I got from this part. And then he parachutes, he lands, and then he hikes up to the crashed plane to observe the wreckage. And you can see it's completely totaled, it crashed into the side of the mountain, and then he's just kind of talking about it and then hikes back to civilization. Now, I watched this on stream last night. That's twitch.tv/moistcritical. I stream every day. Come stop by. It's the only stream guaranteed to get you laid. I'll put a link in the description. And while watching it with chat, we were just kind of going over everything, and then I watched a video that kind of talks about all of the things that are wrong with it. I'm no pilot, I'm really fucking dumb when it comes to aircrafts and everything, but there's a lot wrong with the video that the actual pilots have pointed out, and a couple of them that I'd like to just mention right away is almost no pilot flies with a parachute. That is very alarming for most pilots to see, apparently. And even he himself never flies with a parachute. In all of his other videos, he's never wearing one while piloting. He also doesn't really try to do anything to solve the problem when it stalls. It also stalls at a very convenient cruising altitude. And instead of trying to actually fix the problem, he just immediately bails out. And as another YouTuber pointed out, it's very suspicious that while something has gone wrong with the engine, we never see inside of the cockpit. All the cameras, like there's 12 cameras on this fucking thing. It's like a goddamn complete 360 video basically of all the camera coverage, but not a single time while the engine is apparently malfunctioning do we see anything in the cockpit. We only get the outside exterior shots of him about to jump out. So that was another very suspicious thing. A couple other pilots pointed out weird things that they noticed in the cockpit itself before everything goes wrong, and just so many things that make this video very suspicious. Seeing the YouTuber crash the plane for views? Yeah! I actually saw that the day he posted it. Someone sent me it in an email. Yeah, his name's Trevor Jacobs, the guy who crashed his plane. He still got it up, too. Oh, he turned off comments. You coward. Oh, you blew it, Trevor. You blew it. Yeah, so this dude... I mean, I'll let it play. Thanks for some bees. So, to break it down, well, you know, let me just let it play and then we can go over it. I watched this the day it was posted, though. I was on the forefront of this drama. Why, though? There's a couple theories. Most people think he did it just for the sponsorship, since it's a Ridge Wallet sponsorship. So he wanted it to have good views, so that way he'd get other sponsorships from them. Like, oh, look at how well this video performed for us. That's like the leading theory. But then the other theories is just wanting the attention. That insatiable appetite for some updates.
What's happening? How's it going? My name's Trevor Jacob. Super grateful he'll be joining us.
Says in the video the engine fails. Okay, so I can already see people coming in here like, no, Charlie, this is completely legitimate. So let's go over a couple of things, and I'll play the corresponding clips. So it's around right here, where the engine stalls. Everything's gone wrong. Catastrophes happened. Every pilot's worst nightmare, next to like getting hit by an anti-air missile. And his first instinct is to jump out of the plane. He doesn't try and fix anything. He literally just leaps immediately. Which is quite literally, from what I understand, the last thing anyone should ever do as a pilot. There's a whole checklist of things they do before even considering this. And also, no pilots fly with a parachute normally. And neither does this guy. He only flew with a parachute in this video and this video alone. All the other videos with him piloting a plane, he is not wearing a parachute. I love the way he exits the plane, though. And luckily it stalled at a nice cruising altitude. Dropping tilted towers. Yeah. Another thing a lot of people pointed out is while he's falling, you can see a ton of places that he could have potentially landed this plane. I'm not a pilot, so the reason I never even bothered talking about it is because I don't know fuck all about it. There were people a lot smarter than me that really dissected this and pointed out all of the bullshit. And this is a felony, crashing a plane on purpose. This is a really big deal. So obviously it generated a lot of waves in the actual community of pilots. So again, he never wore a parachute when piloting any of the other planes that he has flown in, yet he claims that he always wears one, which is just a blatant lie.
That's why I always freaking fly with a parachute.
Which he doesn't. Service. Yep. So this was obviously a big deal. I saw it when it happened. But there are so many things wrong with this. There's almost no realm where this is legitimate. Unless, of course, he quite honestly is the worst pilot to ever live, I suppose.
So Trevor's airplane that you normally see him flying in,
with no parachute,
red and white experimental airplane with the tail number, you can tell like it's very obvious that it's a different plane.
Guy jumped out of his airplane like he reached the map limit.
You can clearly
That's
see
cute.
the registration. We've got Santa Barbara and Santa Ynez.
Man, he's so lucky it didn't just miss the mountains and crash into a town. Like, holy fuck.
And then it does seem like the numbers have been painted over or obscured in some way, though, because you can never get a clear
Why would that help his case, though?
see what the numbers actually say.
If you can't see the numbers, why is that helpful to him? Because they can't track the flight.
Where's your paraglider?
But how does that help them if they can't track the flight? Can't they just watch this and pretty much plot the flight like this YouTuber did? I don't see how it's not... I don't see that how it helps them, though. For no room for speculate. Okay. I mean, I guess, yeah. I suppose. It just feels stupid, because if he's going to film this whole thing, he should obviously know that they can find his course. He shows him leaving the airport, and, like, that's probably... If 4chan can find Shia LaBeouf's flag in the middle of fucking nowhere by airplane routes and constellations, I'm sure the FAA could probably figure out where this dumb asshole was going, and what mountains he crashed into, considering there was only 2 possible locations nearby.
So if we take a look at the
Oh my god.
flight,
What am I looking at?
we have right
the
here,
fuck?
Lompoc, he said that his destination
Oh my god, Jesus, fuck.
up here. So this is where he started. This is there.
We're in the mainframe.
I felt like he needed to say something. A lot of other people have questions too.
That's another thing I noticed. The actual pilot community is, for some reason, like the most respectful and nicest community of all time that I've ever seen on the internet. Like, in the comments before you disabled them, all the pilots that knew this was bullshit, they were like, well, there's a lot of inconsistencies with what I'm seeing here. I'd like to trust you, and I think against my better judgment I will, but here's everything that's clearly wrong about everything here. And even this guy's video, which is basically an exposed video, amounts to him just saying, like, yeah, we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. It's probably just, about a lot of weird things happening. Yeah, plain people just seem super nice. And this exposed video is so big brain, I couldn't even understand half of the things he used to debunk the bullshit. For me, I knew it was garbage when someone sent it to me, and the first thing the dude did was just bail out of the plane like it was fucking GTA. He tried no troubleshooting at all from a cruising altitude where he had plenty of time to at least try and, like, restart the engine or like, glide it to a landing nearby or anything. He's just like, yep, I'm fucking out. Peace. And then he has also one of the worst actors I've seen in a minute when he's, like, hiking through the place. He's like, freaking, oh my gosh, the freaking universe just saved me. The freaking universe is so good. This is why I always freaking parachute. I wonder if he's actually going to say anything about this at any point. I would imagine probably not, but he's kept the video up, so I wonder what's going to come from it. Again, it's a serious crime, like a very serious crime. Low-key terrorist attack. I mean, it is, yeah, not super wrong. He just bails out of a plane and lets it crash. It could have crashed anywhere. He had no control over where that thing was going to crash, nor who was in the area nearby. And as we just saw in the last video, there's like a whole town that's not far from these mountains. And by not far, I mean they're literally right next to these mountains. Now, I didn't mention this on stream, but it's something I thought of right after ending stream. If this video didn't have the plane crash, then what was the purpose of the video? It's basically just a video of a guy flying his plane and then landing it. I guess the draw of the video could have been spreading his friend's ashes, but that's a very personal thing and not exactly like a viral piece of content. And Trevor's channel is full of nothing but extreme moments, like all of his piloting ones have like scary stories or taking people up that are very afraid, and it's all very like exciting stuff. Whereas if this video didn't have the plane crash, it's literally just him flying and then landing. And this has a sponsor on it. Sponsors typically want to be on a piece of content they're confident would perform well. A video where Trevor just flies and lands isn't exactly going to be something that really fucking pops off in the algorithm or anything like that. But a plane crash, well, that has the potential to really get wacky, and especially for a sponsorship, it'd be something they'd be confident in doing well. And I'm sure Trevor would have come up with a plan to make the content more exciting, considering all of his other content is, like, over the top. whereas this one would have just been flying and landing. So it just seems really out of character, and there could be merit to that argument where because it was a sponsorship, Trevor felt like he needed to do something bigger, so he came up with this plan of crashing the plane. Again, all of this could be completely genuine. Maybe all of this is real, the plane really malfunctioned, there was no saving it, so he bailed out. But with everything pointed out by the actual pilots in the community, as well as everything they were able to uncover, it seems unlikely. It seems more like this was a stunt to generate views and interest in his channel and content, which is pretty fucked up if that is the case. But anyway, I just wanted to talk about this. That's about it. So yeah. The goofball finally admitted it and is facing real repercussions for his reckless, ridiculous, stupid stunt of crashing his plane for YouTube views. I'm about to blow a kazoo right now to celebrate. It feels so great. Now, a year ago I made a video talking about a situation with a YouTuber named Trevor Jacobs, who made a video, a sponsored video by the way, where he took off in his plane wearing a parachute, which is unusual for a pilot to just have a parachute strapped on him, as I understand it. And while flying the plane, he's like, oh, jeepers, Jiminy Christmas, something's gone wrong. We've lost the engine. And he has like 9 different GoPros set up, and then he just bails out of the plane like he had just accidentally pressed triangle in GTA. He just ejects from the plane and parachutes out with his selfie stick, of course, making sure to get all of the right angles. And then the plane just unpiloted free flies around and then eventually crashes into a mountain. Now, the reason I put an emphasis on the sponsored part of this video is because that played a role in his motivation to crash this plane for views. He said it was part of the sponsorship deal, so I imagine he wanted that shit to bang. So in his deranged little mind, he cooked up this unhinged idea of crashing his plane on purpose and parachuting out. Now, it's extremely dangerous, obviously, because he had no control over where that plane was going to crash. You know, it's not like he's the weather master. He wasn't on the ground doing some kind of fucking sacred wind dance or air bending to make sure the plane crashed into a mountain with nobody around. And even then, there could have been a hiker on the mountain or anything like that. But also, there's a town nearby where it crashed. So what very well could have happened is the plane could have just kept going, gliding, and then eventually being like a fucking terrorist attack on that town with the plane crashing through a business or a house or something. Just from top to bottom, the absolute dumbest fucking idea a pilot could ever have. And everyone immediately knew that something was fishy here. Everyone immediately pinned exactly what happened, that this was a planned viral stunt. Because in the video, you know, when shit's hitting the fan, he's like, zoinks! It's all going awry. He made no attempt to fix anything, correct anything. His first instinct was to jump out of the plane with a selfie stick filming him and the plane behind him, and then parachuting to the ground. And also, everyone immediately called out how fucking weird it was that he was flying with a parachute strapped to him already to begin with. That's not normal. That's not something most pilots do. So all of the red flags were immediately being tripped. Everyone was sounding the alarm that this was a planned ejection and viral stunt to crash the plane for the sponsor deal. And now the Johnny Sins of pilots is fully admitting it. He's just taken all the egg on his face. He is squealing. He's currently pleading guilty to the obstruction of a federal investigation by cleaning up the site of the crash. This is in reference to Jacob going out of his way to make sure that he gets the wreckage and destroyed it himself, which you obviously can't fucking do, especially with a high-profile maneuver like this, fucking crashing a plane. So it just goes over the situation here. So he's in a plea agreement, and he said that he filmed the video as part of a product sponsorship deal, and he's looking at a potential 20 years in the slammer for it, which it sounds about par for the course. Honestly, it's just lucky no one fucking died doing this. Again, he had no control over where that plane was going to crash. This could have been an unbelievable disaster, even more so than it already was. So he agreed to the plea deal and 1 felony count of destruction and concealment with intent to obstruct a federal investigation. He reported the crash to the National Transportation Safety Board, who said he was responsible for preserving the wreckage. According to the plea agreement, Mr. Jacob later claimed he did not know the location of the site, but he did and returned by helicopter and secured and removed the wreckage, which he later destroyed. So he's expected to make his initial court appearance in the coming weeks, and his pilot's license was revoked last year. All this for a drop of YouTube attention, potentially 20 years in prison because you're a starved little clout goblin who needed your fix. You needed your belly full. This has to be one of the most degenerate, terminally online ideas I've ever seen cooked up by somebody to not only reach a position in your life where you're like, I'm going to crash my expensive plane for views on my YouTube channel, but then to go through with it and then try and cover up all the evidence. I don't know how anywhere along the way he didn't stop and think, wow, this is going to fuck me. Because I can't even imagine a world where he would have got away with this. There was no set of circumstances where he would have somehow gotten through all of this without a problem. Everyone knew immediately that this was a planned ejection from the start. Nothing about it looked authentic or genuine. It was all so fucking cringe. Because even when he lands, after the parachuting, because he ejects from the plane, like, immediately. He, like, the second he sees, like, a fly hits the windshield, he's like, oh shit, I'm out. And then he just dives out there. And then the rest of the video is spent with him hiking and giving, like, motivational and inspirational speeches like, man, this is all part of God's plan. The Lord put that parachute on my back today. I woke up and while brushing my teeth, I had a feeling, a tingle in my tummy that told me, wear a parachute today, Trevor. And I listened to that little tingler in my stomach and it saved my life. Sometimes you just get a premonition, you gotta follow through with it, everyone. Sometimes there's a divine plan for you, and that plan for me today was to wear this parachute to save myself from a catastrophic accident. God damn it. Golly gee. And then he hikes over to the wreckage, and then he's like, oh God, look at this. This is terrible. I can't believe this happened. Why? Where did it all go wrong? It's a horrible video. He's a horrible actor. The whole plan was beyond ridiculous. It's just crazy. It's craziness. Jacob also admitted in his plea agreement that he intended to make money through the video. Fucking obviously, that was clearly the main motivator here, that internet clout and ad revenue from the video. He also admitted to lying to federal investigators after submitting an aircraft accident incident report and falsely claimed the plane fully lost power roughly half an hour after takeoff, the news release said. Also, it's pretty clear to everyone watching the video, the plane doesn't exactly just lose power out of nowhere. Everything that happens in the plane in the video actually just seems like a Disney ride. Like, it is just very fucking silly. It seems like that kind of shit that you have is like the pre-ride entertainment when you're waiting in line at Disney. It's embarrassing. And it's so poorly acted that it immediately tipped off people as stupid as me who have no clue about aircraft or anything aviation related. And I was like, yeah, this had to be fake. All of it was so clearly a stunt, a viral play for that ad revenue and that sponsorship bucks. Jacob also lied to a Federal Aviation Administration safety inspector when he said the airplane's engine had quit, and because he could not identify any safe landing options, he had to parachute out of the plane. And again, if you watch the video, he doesn't look for any safe landing options. He doesn't look anywhere except for where his selfie stick was. The closest thing that even comes to a panic is him trying to locate his selfie stick so he can make sure to get good footage. Everything else, he didn't even bother going through. There was no lists of checks that he was making to try and get the engine back online or trying to glide it to safety, looking for a safe landing spot. The dude actually just boot scooting boogies right out of the plane, letting it crash behind him. Well, not behind him, because it still like flew on its own for a little while before crashing into the side of a mountain. But yeah, overall, it is so nice to see him just fully admitting all of this. I mean, we all knew it was fake from the beginning. This isn't like a surprise to anybody. But it's nice to finally just get it from his mouth, and 20 years in prison for it sounds about par for the course. This could have ended a lot worse. Again, there was a town nearby. This could have just killed random people, all for this man's YouTube views. It's so ridiculous. So, just wanted to give a little update to this because when I was streaming today, watching the Moist Esports Rocket League squad absolutely pop off, chat made me aware that Trevor Jacob was finally facing the repercussions and just openly admitting all of it. So right after the games today, I went, checked everything with a big smile on my face, and I figured it was worth updating all of you who may have been, aware of the story but not following it that closely like I was. So looking like the happy ending here. Hopefully he does face that prison time because he absolutely deserves it. That's about it. See ya.